Like I was saying, it's just, bad timing for all the bad stuff that's been happening to the base boys. Some election year bullshit and whatnot.
Are you talking about how we're all converting?
No, like all the bad personal things, like just the tragedy and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what do you do? It's 2020, man. It's the year of shit.
Blame it on Russian agents and the deep state. They're after us.
Those goddamn Russians, dude. Why won't they just leave us alone?
I know, man. It's the Russian government is officially after the big boys.
I believe it, dude. They're taking out our loved ones one by one.
So did you have a chance to watch the Kyle Rittenhouse Kenosha cookout?
Oh my god, dude. To be honest with you, I have not. So let's see here. The only issue is I'm no longer active on Facebook, so I gotta somehow. This picture of Walls grabbing his nipples.
Yeah. Hashtag rocks and cows.
Oh yeah, I can be like, yo, look at this photo. God damn it. What am I thinking?
Well, the Twitter links of Kyle Rittenhouse's shooting.
Oh shit. Sorry, man, I fucked it up.
Run!
So is this him running away?
Yep.
Oh, he got a gun! He got a gun! Fuck you! Get back! Get down. Run! Rita,
Wow,
run!
dude.
Holy fuck! They shooting. I felt them bitches go by.
Felt them bitches go by.
No way, he shot that motherfucker? Oh my god, he shot the guy. Holy fuck. He shot him. Holy fuck.
They're so shocked. It's like,
He's down!
call 911. What do these people care about fucking 911?
This dude running did it. Take screenshots. That dude shot him. That nigga just shot that dude! Cranium that boy! He just shot a man!
Wow.
Yep. So that was after he shot Joseph Rosenbaum, by the way, who was a convicted sex offender in the state of Wisconsin. Rosenbaum had been chasing him, and then a Molotov cocktail was thrown at Rittenhouse, and then he ran away. And we can pull up the next shooting, or the main one, where he shoots the guy who pursues him and tries to crack his skateboard over his head. And then he shoots another guy with a handgun who had been chasing him as well. So.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah. But previous to him shooting Rosenbaum, he had been helping out some of the businesses, and they had given interviews before all the shit went down, all the riots. For that night, he was saying, how he wants to protect the businesses and the business owners in the area. And that was it. There is footage of Rosenbaum making threats towards people who are also armed with AR-15s. And then there was another link I sent you. It's kind of difficult to see, so we don't need to show it, but where it showed Rittenhouse being pursued by Rosenbaum, and then he shot him. And then there is footage of Rosenbaum being surrounded by a group of SJW asswipe incels and dying. Oh, so this is the pre-interview.
Okay, this is where he's just talking about what he's here for.
To protect this business, and part of my job is also help people. If there's somebody hurt, I'm running into harm's way. That's why I have my rifle, because I need to protect myself, obviously. But I also have my med kit.
What are you doing out here? Obviously, you're armed and you're in front of this business.
Okay, I see.
Somebody was just filming an uneventful scene, and then Rittenhouse had run across with a fire extinguisher. So he's also putting out fires. And the speculation is that he got chased by Rosenbaum after that happened, after he put out some of the fires from the riots.
Yeah.
Seeing that
some shit.
Seeing that used car lot basically obliterated.
Yeah, it was
and
just gone.
Just the damage from that, millions of dollars. And then other businesses smaller chains were just fucking destroyed. Oh, here we go. I think, yep. This is it.
Does anyone know how loaded he was when he unloaded his gun? Does
What is
anyone
this?
know how loaded he was when the slaughter had
Oh, this is the skateboard?
Does anyone know how crazy he was
Alright, I gotta go back. I missed this
when
shit.
he was
Distracted by the song.
when the slaughter had loaded his gun?
Okay, there's the
Does anyone know
skateboard.
how loaded he was when the slaughter had begun?
Oh my god.
Does anyone know how crazy he was?
Is that where he blew off his fucking arm?
Think he did it because
And then he just walks away.
Yeah.
That was just a warning shot, dude. Dude, for being a 17-year-old, that guy's a fucking baller.
Dude. Well, when he dropped to the ground, very tactical. He obviously has tactical training, and he's a bootlicker too. He supported law enforcement. He did some like camps or some shit a few years ago. But it's badass when he shoots the guy's arm because it's at night. He's several yards away, and then he shoots the guy has his pistol in his right hand, and he shoots him like right here, right where the tendons and ligaments connect, like the forearm to the bicep.
Nope.
And there's that video. I don't know if we want to show it, but I don't know if you or Facebook or YouTube are wiping it, but it shows the video of that one reporter who walked up to him with his phone recording. It showed the guy's arm get blasted off, or when it was blasted off, and it's just the most fucking gruesome thing I think I've seen. I pretty much watched it live on Twitter, which was fucked up. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That these riots, which the Democrats had denied for the longest time, they're starting to catch on to the fact that the Dems are not condemning them.
Yeah.
And business owners, small business owners, are being completely just left in the dust, especially in Kenosha and Minneapolis.
Yep.
I mean, it's
How are
just so
people
fucking-
supposed to vote then?
Yeah, they've given them no choice. And what was it, 8 or 9 Iron Range mayors said Biden isn't doing anything for us, so we're endorsing Trump. And I believe most of them, if not all of them, were Democrats.
Yeah.
And I think that puts Trump at an advantage. And who was it? Was it Don Lemon who was lecturing Chris Cuomo on CNN saying that these riots aren't good for anybody, and they were trying to like turn the narrative or shift the paradigm pretty much on screen because they realized that the polling is starting to show and it's not looking good for the Democrats, and Biden isn't doing anything. Biden is babbling on with incoherent sentences, especially that his 2 recent gaffes where it sounds like it's fucking Mad Libs. I keep saying this over and over. He has dementia.
Yeah.
We know it. Everybody knows it, but nobody on the left wants to say it. And Trump, for better or worse, is coming out with ideas, plans, a few of which many of us disagree.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that Biden isn't saying anything when he could be shifting the polls for the Dems, that sucks for them, but it's great for anybody who's on the fence about firearm ownership and various other issues and are willing to jump off the fence to the red team.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Kamala Harris isn't out giving speeches or anything.
Yeah, she kind of disappeared.
She has fallen off the map completely. And I thought Tulsi murdering her in the debates would have been the last straw or the final nail in the coffin.
Well, that and all the fighting she did with Biden and, you know, saying that she was very hurt by what Biden had done and said, but she would happily be his VP.
Yeah, exactly. She has to do a 180 because she called him a segregationist because he was a segregationist. He opposed desegregation in busing and I think even schooling. He said something about, I don't want my kids to grow up in a jungle or something like that when he was talking about diversity and diverse schools. Biden has said some really fucked up shit, and the two combined are the architects of mass incarceration, as you and I know.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, even the black community and the black wing of the left are hesitant to get out there and, be praising Kamala and hooray, Kamala. She's so brave. She's such a brave woman when she locked up thousands of black and brown people for weed possession.
Yeah. How are you supposed to just be like all on board with her? I mean, you have to be absolutely delusional or just ignorant or something. You have to just live in an alternate reality or you have no idea.
Precisely. And
or you're a hypocrite. That's the left.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they know what they're doing and they're just not paying attention. They're not speaking up, or they're playing the what about game. But they can't do that on criminal justice because Trump passed the First Step Act with help from, he worked with Kushner, Jared Kushner, Rand Paul, and Van Jones. And Van Jones, just for trying to help and talk to the administration, got completely torched by the left. Just fucking torched for wanting to help out with criminal justice reform.
What'd they do?
Well, all over media, Twitter, he was just getting demonized and saying, oh, he's like another Trumpanzee, basically, for wanting to work with President Trump on this issue. In other words, people are so partisan and tribal that they can't even come together when somebody from the other side of the aisle tries to help out with something as universally uniting as criminal justice reform and prison reform.
Isn't that what they want? I mean, so
that's
we thought.
That's what they, that's what they claim to want. But then you look at Biden and all the legislation that he has sponsored and is 44, 47 years in office.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long while that Joe's been around.
And he's just been a law enforcement bootlicker who wants more funding for police departments to perpetuate the war on drugs. And he co-authored the 94 crime bill, and he supported the 3 strikes law for violent or nonviolent felonies.
Yep.
He's the architect of mass incarceration. So it's interesting that only a few black people are out there praising a Biden-Harris ticket when in reality, most of them know or are going to find out in the coming weeks, especially during the debates, if it gets brought up, that Trump has done more for criminal justice reform than Biden has, and Trump has only been in office for 4 years.
Yeah. He'd get absolutely destroyed.
And that's aside from him not knowing where the fuck he is. If he does know where he is, he's not going to out-debate Trump. It's going to be a fucking shit show.
Yep, he can hardly remember. I mean, I can hardly form a sentence right now, but it's better than Joe Biden, at least. I mean, it is terrible. Like, what was the recent one with the 100 years?
Yeah. yeah, dude, you can play that. We'll probably put that in. Can we put that in after? Yeah. Okay. All right. But yeah, he said that. He just sounds like a goddamn toddler.
Yep.
I saw this meme where it showed, God damn it, like Joe Biden when he was younger, and it showed a animated picture of Boomhauer from King of the Hill.
Oh my God.
It was so good. But Nancy Pelosi is leading the charge and saying, hey, we can't have these debates. There shouldn't be debates. It's too dangerous. Meanwhile, the numbers are out, and COVID-19 has a 99.98% survival rate. I mean, if you just look at the Minnesota Department of Health's numbers, obviously for Minnesota's, part of the pandemic, whatever, there have been
It's like nothing.
Dozens of thousands of cases aged 0 to 24 years of age, and like 2 people died. I think.
Yeah, we were pulling up those numbers last time, and it's kind of crazy when you look at it. It's just so many cases, but the deaths in comparison to the deaths in the elderly, the 60+ range, there's no comparison, really. I mean, you can just see it hardly affects this group of people. It significantly affects this group of people, just like the flu. Just like the flu.
For sure, man.
Sorry,
and
I don't mean to interrupt you. You go off.
No, that was that was perfect. Yeah, and public school teacher unions are starting to feel blowback because if they say we cannot open up schools in the fall, well, then parents who never thought of school choice as an issue now face that issue that got pushed to the forefront because they had a portion of their earnings stolen by government, by the state, and allocated toward education. So if their kids can't get an education in person, they're going to be like, can we have our money back? Can we take them somewhere else and get a refund? Or what's going on here?
Well, and now just think of how much money people are forking over. And at the same time, they're only putting their kids, if they're even putting them in school, like they should get a refund for that, but they're only going for 2 days.
Yeah, it's
on
crazy.
top of all that, like they might only go for a couple days. That's it.
Yeah, they might alternate days, and a few classes may be taught with social distancing outside. I'm not making that shit up. It sounds like something the fucking Onion came up with. Really, or the Babylon Bee. Like, it's just so fucking dumb. And nobody brings up the numbers. When we hear on KARE 11, you know, a news anchor, a reporter, a commentator on KARE 11 say, a 16-year-old died in the state of Minnesota, and his death was due to COVID-19. It's like, yeah, but what about the other dozens of thousands of people, young people, relatively speaking, under, say, 35 who have gotten it but haven't died?
Right. Like,
I mean, the numbers are just mind-blowing.
It is. It is. It's just the fact that people are still living in fear of this whole thing, and if you don't wear a mask and yada yada yada, it's like,
fuck.
Oh my god, dude.
It's just unbelievable. I mean,
yeah.
Surly's is closing. Businesses are still closing because some can't operate at 50% capacity. And I talked to my godmother who cuts my hair in Waverly.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dawn at Creations. And I have to wear a mask when I'm getting a haircut. And she has to keep all of her clippers, razors, shavers in like these square bins. And so it takes her a while to get them out and like find them. And it's so fucking stupid.
What a load of shit. Honestly.
she has to put clippers and everything, like the guards, in fucking Tupperware containers. In plastic containers, and then put them in drawers to be able to operate. And there are regulatory agents going around checking to make sure they're in compliance with the king's mandates.
That shit's fucking nuts.
How fucking stupid.
That shit is fucking nuts.
And if she doesn't comply, it's like, well, a few months ago, for the most basic infractions, it'd be $1,200 a day. And she could lose her license. She said she knows hairstylists who have lost their fucking licenses.
Unfucking believable, dude.
Hey, just think about it.
I don't even know what to say.
Let's say you're a COVID-19 pandemic regulatory agent, and you have to go to small towns and bully these fucking small business owners? Well, under what authority? Tim Walz's? Fucking Timmy the Tyrant?
Yeah.
It's, oh my God. Like it's so dumb. And they don't want to cite the numbers.
Yeah.
Remember a few weeks ago, I think it was a month ago, where they went from citing the deaths to now citing the cases.
Right.
Before it was the cases and the deaths, but now it's just the cases. Because they don't want to bring up Sweden,
Nope.
a country that didn't have mask mandates, country that didn't have any forced shutdowns or mandatory shutdowns or stay-at-home orders, and they're doing just fine.
Yep.
The party of science isn't embracing herd immunity. A virus is going to eventually make its way through the population as COVID-19 is in the process of doing in the United States, and any hurdles or obstacles that get in the way of herd immunity should be done away with.
Yeah.
I mean, which numbers were you looking at today? The national ones or the state ones or cases, deaths?
Last time I was just looking at whatever the CDC has. Let's see. I might have figured out a way. Sorry, I've been trying to figure this shit out. If I seem distracted, that's what it is.
Oh, dude, it's all good. It's not a problem.
So I at least found a way to just put my phone screen on here. Let's see. So if we just do coronavirus.
But the CDC said what? 6% of all COVID-19 related deaths were only from COVID-19. The others, or the other 94%, had a few underlying causes.
Yeah.
Or health detriments.
Yeah, something like
which
that.
contributed to their death. And, well, the CDC is kind of shattering that narrative.
Yeah.
As if it wasn't already shattered.
Right. Well, then they're trying to defend this shit. It's just, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I gotta pull up the actual fucking numbers.
At COVID_clarity on Twitter, they have some pretty good charts and stuff, but they have this one chart where it shows what the projections were for cases and deaths and what it actually is in each scenario. And yeah, obviously the projections were way off. Shocker.
Yeah. All right. So Twitter.
At COVID_clarity.
Oh my God. Fucked up.
But even at work, a lot of the policy regarding testing and masks it's unclear because we're so understaffed and a lot of it is arbitrary. I mean, to the point where we don't even know. I mean, I don't know. It's such a clusterfuck. A virus so dangerous that you have to get tested to know that you have it.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's a fucking meme. It's just wreaking havoc on the population.
Look at this. All right.
All the fearmongers, doomsayers, being made to look like idiots. Even Michael Osterholm is looking like a fucking moron. Fauci, too. February and March, he said masks don't really work and you don't need to wear them. And now, if you don't wear a mask in a store, you're fucking Satan. That's in the cities, in the hipster, democratically controlled cities.
Right.
Small towns, nobody gives a fuck. And that's how you win. That's how you win the paradigm. Because the left is going to say, oh, well, it's private property and you have to wear a mask if they mandate it in stores or mandate it at the bureaucratic level. It's like, yeah, but if it's not enforced, which it's not, again, in stores in smaller towns, then there's not shit you can do. I mean, you can be a Karen and report them, but you can't control the actions of every customer in a Walmart or a Target or a Menards.
Oh, right. There's no fucking way.
I mean, just imagine trying to be that employee telling customers hundreds of times a day to wear masks or that they need to be wearing masks and then risking getting screamed at. I mean, it's just, that would be exhausting.
Oh, it would be. Can you see this video that I have pulled up?
Hold up. Now I can. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. Holy shit. He fucks this guy up.
Throws the Molotov cocktail. Pops some. Rosenbaum, the registered sex offender in Wisconsin. And then runs away and shoots the other two dudes.
That's some shit, dude.
Yep.
Let's see here. What else we got? It's extended footage.
And then he runs away. And
let's see.
Boom, drops, tries hitting him over the head with a skateboard. Pops him. And then pops him in the arm. All self-defense.
But yeah, it's not like he's trying to kill that guy.
I mean,
So he could have.
Andrew Huber, the guy with the skateboarder who tried hitting him over the head with a skateboard, should win the Darwin Award, because who the fuck sees somebody running away with an a locked and loaded AR-15 in the low ready position, and tries to chase them down and hit them over the head with a skateboard?
Yeah. Yep. Definitely the winner of the Darwin Award. Fucking retard.
And then, of course, the media demonizes Rittenhouse, who cooked a pedo, a domestic abuser, and then shot the burglar in the arm, right where his tendons and ligaments connect his forearm and bicep. And that was in response to the Jacob Blake shooting, of course, in Kenosha, where somebody who had warrants out for his arrest for trespassing, domestic abuse, and felony sexual assault got shot by a cop after he had put the cop and I think the woman in a headlock when there was like a fight or scuffle going on. And then all the BLM activists and SJWs and lefties tried to say it was murder, but it clearly wasn't.
Right.
Clearly wasn't. And now he actually raised $2.2 million. Well, his mom did, I think.
Yeah.
$2.2 million on his GoFundMe campaign, while Rittenhouse had his GoFundMe campaign shut down. So that's where we're at in society. That's who we're holding up as a hero, a martyr, and we're demonizing, collectively, of course, because we're a part of society, collectively demonizing Rittenhouse for shooting a pedophile, a domestic abuser, and a burglar. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
And I also read that in Racine, Wisconsin, there was an argument. This is part of Jacob Blake's past. There was an argument going on between two women, and I think a guy may have gotten involved, not physically, but Blake pulled out a piece and held it to one of their heads, and then the mag fell out.
Seriously?
He picked it up, put it back in, went outside, and then pointed it at every patron in the bar/restaurant, I believe. So that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah. That sounds pretty
Definitely,
fucked up.
definitely not a good guy. In the NHL and NFL and MLB all honored him. They postponed their games. They canceled their games. It's just so fucking stupid.
Seriously. So this is right here, like beforehand.
Yep. Well, there's that scuffle behind the car, and then he walks around with two officers who have their guns drawn, pointed at him, telling him to stop. And I think one still shot, or still frame, showed him with a knife in his hand. It's like a curved, serrated knife. And yeah, that's what they rioted over in Kenosha. That's from behind it. And then there's the original footage, which shows somebody recording where he shoots him, where it shows him shoot him. And yeah, just that's who they're holding up as an icon, as a hero, the next civil rights hero. And if you think that it wasn't murder, then you're apparently a pro-police bootlicking asswipe. I mean, that's what they're saying.
This is what I say to that.
Hashtag rocks and cows. Fucking
That's fucking
God.
That's
God
fucking
damn it.
sexy, right there.
I just. Are they going to be able to see the memes? Because it looks like we're blocking them a little bit, but I mean that's all right. I'm sure everybody got
they can
flooded.
see him. Yeah,
I'm sure everybody got bombarded and flooded with Kenosha memes and Cookout memes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I just feel so bad for the guy who owned that used car lot and just got wrecked. Got fucking, it's dust. It looks like a war zone.
Yeah.
And there was that video where it just showed him smashing the windows of cars in the used car lot, and then other businesses and business owners, were threatened or hurt physically. There was one business owner, he was 71 years old. He tried putting out fires, I think, and just defending businesses, and they broke his jaw.
Seriously?
Yep. So all that bullshit on top of the fucking Blake shooting, which was justified. As somebody who doesn't like the police,
I did see that one.
doesn't like state enforced protection, security forces, it was fully justified, clearly.
Yeah.
With all the facts that we have now, it was justified, and they fucking rioted and torched a portion of Kenosha, and now the business owners have to deal with not only the state not protecting their businesses because they pay taxes, they pay for protection, forced or voluntary, right?
Yep.
In this case, forced, and they don't get anything for it. But on top of that, they got to deal with insurance companies who say, we're only going to pay this much, or we're not going to pay anything at all, because the state, the police officers, should have fucking protected you guys, given you some form of protection.
That's what they're supposed to do. It's what they're paid for. Like
It's
you're
just,
saying.
and then in Minneapolis, there were the riots because there was that video of that guy shooting himself with a gun just in the mouth. But from when the footage first came out, a lot of people thought it was the police who shot him.
Right.
Because they were closing in, and he dropped right before the two or three officers got there, and everybody was like, what the fuck? They just shot him point blank. But if you look at it the second time, it shows he shot himself. And the Minneapolis Police Department said, we want to release this right away because we don't want any blowback. And people still fucking rioted. People looted a fucking Target, and then they looted. I think it might have been a different one, but I'm not sure. But then they
I'm
looted
sure it was different, but
and then they burned a few businesses, and it shows a video of people lining up to loot this fucking store, and people are just walking out with armfuls.
What the fuck's going on in Minneapolis, man?
It
takes a man killing himself and people go off. I mean, the police show up at anything, we're screwed, because it just causes these people to just go off and start looting businesses. It's a trigger point. It's kind of crazy. It just gives the defund the police that much more power behind it, like that much more gas. It's going to go for a while because it's like every time something happens, people are going to freak the fuck out. People are going to want the police gone. And then what?
Yep. The same people who don't want people to own firearms, but they have no method of enforcing firearm ownership or the prevention of it.
You're going to have more Rittenhouses out there, and you're going to have crazier fucking shit going on. I guess it just winners of the Darwin Award, I guess, because seriously, people are going to defend themselves.
It's going to look like it's looking like that when Chauvin eventually gets acquitted because
Yep.
Ellison is rolling all the trials into one, or trying to. When all of them get acquitted, but especially Chauvin, it's going to be hopefully. Well, it's not hopefully, but it's going to be a situation where riots take place and business owners gather together and say, you know what, fuck this. The state's leaving us to dry. Right now we're not allowed to business owners who got their businesses torched in South Minneapolis. They can't clean up until they pay property taxes, which is fucked up. And well, they're not allowed to. They have to deal with insurance companies. So they're going to say, well, the state's not there for us, even though we pay for protection by being extorted by the state. Insurance companies are going to fight us tooth and nail because we don't have any state protection. So fuck this. We're gonna be storefront Sikhs and roof Koreans, and we're gonna load up on AR-15s, Mac 11s, and Mag 44 mags to fucking defend ourselves. I mean, are looters and rioters going to fuck around and find out? Are they gonna seriously fuck around if they see people patrolling their neighborhoods, their communities, their businesses, stores that have been up for decades and in which business owners have poured their hearts and lives into? Are they gonna try and run up on them? People who are fucking armed
I don't
and
think
actually willing to defend their private property? Because I don't even want to think about how bad it's going to get once the 4 officers get acquitted. It comes down to, okay, are you going to roll the dice and see if the insurance will cover your business getting fucking torched? Or are you going to be there when there are going to be expected riots and hide out with an AR and just start popping them off?
I'm going to go with the latter on that one.
They're going to have to.
I don't.
They're gonna,
I mean, why not? I mean, it's what it's going to boil down to is just defend yourself, protect your own, because the police aren't going to be there to help you. There's no calling 911.
Especially when it's overloaded in a situation like that. I'm following TC Crime at TC Crime Watch on Twitter and Minneapolis Crime Watch as well. And just seeing all of the things that are happening in the cities, robberies, muggings, all the fucked up situations happening hour by hour. Doesn't matter if it's weekend or weekday.
Yeah.
There's so much violence going on.
There's crazy shit. It's Chicago-esque. It's Chicago level.
Yes, exactly. Where it's not like it used to be anymore, where it was, okay, there were a few incidents here and there on average, but now there are many incidents on average every single day and night. And people are just, some of the shit I'm seeing on TC Crime Watch, and you know, I think he gets it from police dispatch and he has some insiders in law enforcement. It's fucking wild. I wouldn't want to own a home or own a business down there.
No, dude. I think a lot of people are leaving the Minneapolis area. I think you'd be a fool to stay down there. You'd be an absolute fool.
And there's no good legal
Pull it up.
precedent set because Minnesota isn't like a castle doctrine state or a stand your ground state.
Oh yeah, and that's what.
There's so many stupid fucking laws and regulations and like mandates of what you have to do if somebody breaks into your house. Like if there's a back door, you have to exit, otherwise you can face prosecution. If somebody breaks in, you have to have an equal or lesser weapon in terms of lethality or deadly nature. So you have to gauge it minute by minute when somebody breaks into your fucking house. Just that alone is fucking confusing.
Yeah.
Like you can't defend yourself and your property.
Yeah. Well, and that just makes it's going to drive people out, man. I mean, when you're left with no choice, it's a very stressful situation. When like, what are you supposed to do? Just lay down and die because somebody's coming to attack you? Look at what we got here, Minneapolis. 13 minutes ago. People hear gunshots, vehicles speeding away.
Fuck.
Let's see. Five BMs at black males and blue Mazda SUV. Shots were fired in the parking lot. That's an update on it. No plates on the Mazda is believed to be stolen. Classic.
Yeah, and stuff like that is just the norm. I mean, I read somewhere where in the Twin Cities, violent crime is up 160% or 170%. And that's where I think if the police really cared about people protecting themselves and politicians really cared about people defending themselves, their families, their loved ones, and their private property, they would come out and say, hey, get your carry and conceal permit, get a firearm. You have to be able to defend yourself, because even when we're overstaffed and there were a few officers who quit, but now we have more officers coming in and we have more officers on patrol than ever before. Well, we can't be everywhere at once, especially during a fucking riot.
Yeah, and we saw that with the first ones that broke out in Minneapolis. The calls that went in, nobody was getting help. Especially when they're just defending the precinct and that's getting overrun. So it's...
And yet they have National Guardsmen or state troopers in riot gear patrolling a quiet neighborhood, and then one of them, shoots a paint shot or a paint projectile at people who are video recording or videotaping on their own private property or their own porch.
Yeah, they were doing that, a few days after all that shit went down. But yeah,
and it's still
I don't know
unclear
if they're responding to anything at that point either.
Exactly, and it's still and that was when there was an armored vehicle going down the street and they were patrolling neighborhoods. So it's like, what the? Why aren't you fucking protecting businesses and where all the action is? And it's still unclear where the National Guard was on the first few days of the Floyd riots in Minneapolis. Walz didn't say anything. He just kind of said, he was quiet, of course, in the first few days, and then he said, the National Guardsmen did an outstanding job. It's like, what? What's going on? Especially, and then a few weeks afterwards, or a few months afterwards, rather, Frey and Walz were kind of arguing and bickering over whose fault it was that all this shit was going down.
Yep. Yeah, as who
so
was to blame.
Stupid.
And the National Guard was they were getting called in, but it takes a couple of days. We figured that out from Walz's daughter. Tweeting
exactly.
that out. It's just saying, hey, everybody thinks the National Guard's coming. They're not. Just so you know, they're not. They're not going to be here for a couple days.
For sure.
So it's
and Evers, when the Kenosha riots broke out, or as the mainstream media would call it, the Kenosha protests, Evers sent, I think it was 250 National Guardsmen, even though the request was like 500. And then a few days later, he sent in an extra 500 National Guardsmen, or ordered them to Kenosha to kind of clear things up and close it off. And I know that because I saw it on Twitter and I read a few articles and stories about it. And I got my overnight shift covered because I was going to go over there to take pictures, kind of like I did the day after Minneapolis when I was coming home from your place, and I just left early in the morning. I wanted to take pictures, but by the time I found out that the city was closed off, I was in like Eau Claire and I was fucking hauling ass, and I was kind of pissed.
Damn.
But because I don't want to have to go to Wisconsin unless I'm gonna fucking do landscape photography or
see some crazy shit. One of those two things.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Damn, dude.
But it was a faster response, and they cleared it out, and that's where I think in all major cities they should have special units, or at least a few SWAT teams, which I thought they had anyway, to say, hey, we're going to go protect the business owners, those who pay, this amount in taxes or the most in taxes. It is what it is. Like, it just has to be a proportionate response, but a peaceful one, if you can get them to fuck off without turning it into a Kent State situation.
Yeah.
I mean, is what it is.
Right. There's a fine line there. We almost had that in Duluth here. Duluth almost popped off.
Really?
Yeah, there were we were very, very close from what it sounded like based on what I had read about it. There was gunshots in not downtown, in Lincoln Park area of Duluth, and that's kind of a shitty area. I'd call it worse than downtown, honestly. And yeah, so there was gunshots being exchanged like outside in the streets, and
Okay.
cops were nearby. They're going in trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And so they narrowed it down to like who was one of the guys. Like the guy he just started running. So obviously it's like, okay, there's the guy. So then they're chasing after the guy. They have to catch up to him, get him on the ground. All the while they're asking him, put your hands up. Where's the gun? All that shit. And the guy's I think it was like a sergeant or whatever that kind of walks through step by step what was going on. He was there, and just split-second decisions were made because they had no idea where the gun was. Was this guy just going to turn on him, use it, whatever? So then they were close to shooting the guy before they ended up getting him on the ground. So it's just that story in between. It's like all you know is that they catch the guy, get him on the ground, or whatever you might see in like far off clips. But it's just like when they're close up with those guys, like it's life or death for them sometimes.
Pretty much. And that would be the same situation if it was privatized and somebody was trying to pull out a piece, or, they were just stealing something, looting, rioting. It would be the same situation if it was private security, private protection, because you still have to respond to that threat. And that's where I like Gary when he talks about when we're messaging, we're talking about the idea of, homeless people who are harassing hotel patrons, and he has to deal with them. And he was saying, in a privatized society where you have, or a free society rather, where you have private police, or you can kind of do things on your own accord without restraint, without gun laws. How would you handle that? Would you be justified in shooting them with a gun if you just tell them a few times to leave and they don't leave? Shooting them with a rubber bullet, and also factoring like the PR spin because you don't want to make your company look bad, even though you're doing the right thing, defending your company's private property. So it's kind of an interesting question. I mean, even when it comes to defense of businesses, when there are crowds that are looting, I mean, would a business owner be justified in shooting the people who are looting or who are ready to loot, but they were in line to the store? And by the way, I was using all of that as an example of how we have to get to the finer details of self-defense.
Well, yeah, what
in
is,
these situations? I mean,
where is that? Yeah. Oh, I get you. And then how do you prove any of that? Because I imagine, so you're still going to have courts, I'd imagine, even if security is privatized. So each company is probably going to have some sort of crazy record keeping system just so that they can try to cover their employees' ass if they ever end up shooting somebody. Because
you bet,
who's going to want to take a job where you're more likely to just end up in jail because you just get tried for murder or something like that?
Exactly.
Manslaughter, whatever it might be.
Definitely. I mean,
I think people become police officers because there's not a very likely chance that that's going to happen to you. And that's good or bad,
great benefits.
I mean, you want to look at it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I absolutely agree. And outside of the cities, it's very safe. I mean, you're just catching speeders, people, boobs, smoke pot, and a few whiskey tickets every now and then. But it is crazy. Like up in Duluth, I think you showed me that one screenshot or posted that one article and link where it said the violent crime rate in Duluth is over 30% the national average.
Yeah, something like
per
that.
capita or something. But working as a cop in these inner cities, or if somebody was an agent for a private security firm, and it was communal policing that was paid for with subscriptive services, it would still be fucking difficult. And this is where I wish people who are more libertarian and maybe like ANCAPed would pay attention to it, because these mistakes would still happen. There would still be fuck-ups regarding a proper use of force in self-defense. Not all of the drug war, all of the other victimless crime enforcement bullshit, but just the basic idea of somebody has a gun, they're running away, they let's say pistol whip somebody, and they stole some shit, and then your officer is chasing them.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, do you have to wait? Do you have to wait until a fucking gun is pointed at you to actually fire off when you know that this fucker messed somebody up?
Well, yeah, and do you have to take the second shot to be justified? Like, that's kind of fucked up. If it gets
very fucked up.
If it comes down to that point, it's like you need to be shot first before you can shoot somebody. It's like, what if I already know they're gonna shoot me, and I just beat them to it? It's the guy that fires first is fucked, even if it's, an officer, like you say.
Definitely.
Well, so then
it's kind of.
Sorry, finish.
No, dude, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, it's just
I already finished it.
Talking about police officers and all that shit, just dismantling everything. It's just, do we need to get to the point where we dismantle all of this shit, or does it just need to be revised, updated, technology implemented in various ways? Because, I've been an anti-government sort of person for a long time, but at the same time, I think that ultimately what I would want in the end is just similar to what government's doing, but just privatized in a sense.
Exactly.
But how can we do that just across the board? And with the police, I don't know if that's one thing that could ever really be privatized, but there should be private security, but there is. So it's just, I don't know. Can we have both of these things? Can we just fix the one? Is it beyond repair and it needs to be just wiped out? Like, I think about this with voting. It's like there's so many ways that we could use technology to help with voting, but it would be a hard system to develop, be expensive. There'd be countless flaws with it initially, but we could eventually get somewhere with it if they spent enough time testing, developing it. And you could have online voting. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard because everybody has a social security number. I mean, you can do unemployment and all this other shit. Mm-hmm. So, like, how hard is it for them to come up with some sort of voting system? You click a few bubbles, you submit, bada bing, bada boom. I mean, it just with the mail-in voting that people want to end up doing, it's just, okay, so how do you know if it's all legit? Because, like, from what Bill Barr was saying, the record has a bunch of voters on it who are deceased or have moved or whatever. You send out a ballot to somebody, but the people don't live out there anymore, so then somebody else is filling out their ballot, and it's just how many. And there's numbers for this. It's thousands. It's thousands of, maybe even 100-some thousand that have been fucked up mail-in ballot wise in states that do that sort of a thing. And they've been working on it. So imagine all these other states that haven't had this sort of shit. And we try to do that sort of a thing and just say, oh, we're just going to mail in ballots. And we don't have any sort of system set up. This is going to be a great election. Like, how long is it going to take to sort that sort of thing out? So I think a lot of things need to be updated. I think that's my ultimate point. But do we just get rid of some shit? I don't know. As anti-government as I am, do we just completely wipe shit out? Like, I just don't know if that's the smartest way to go about this shit, because it just sounds like then you're dismantling the United States, and a lot of countries would be happy with that.
For sure. I think regarding like kind of the privatization of the police thing, a lot of people would have to be or a lot of people, neighborhoods would have to be collectively on board with the same thing with policing, minus not enforcing, victimless crimes like weed possession, drug possession, whatever. But I don't think they would be on board. Most people, especially in inner cities, wouldn't be on board with privatizing the police and having competition like we have in every other sector of society.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't be on board with it because these incidents would still happen. Although there would be liability because there would be an equivalent to, or something equivalent to or not having qualified immunity, having to carry personal liability insurance, and thus hiring better people or officers in your firm or agency, let's say. But this shit would still happen because when somebody shoots somebody and they're running away, mistakes can easily be made because that is an armed and dangerous person. And sometimes in the chase, you don't know if they're armed and dangerous, if they're pointing the gun at you, especially at night. And if you shoot them, well, the people are still going to be pissed and they're going to call for that particular privatized agency to be dismantled. Or when the contract expires, they're going to go with another agency where that same thing still happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just the same thing over and over again.
It'll never end. And that's where I don't know if that's just the route to go. It's dismantling, getting rid of it, because it's inevitable. Even with private security, you're going to have these sorts of situations. So we could use technology to help prevent some of these things.
Absolutely. And I don't think the state wouldn't give up its monopoly on the initiation of force and protection services anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of the shitty part about it, is like something like that, practically speaking, I mean, it just can't happen or occur because the state wants to expand its power at the expense of its citizens. And regarding mail-in voting, it's a fucking terrible idea because Trump and Barr and everybody with half of a fucking brain knows that the USPS, or the United States Postal Service, should not exist and it should be privatized because we have FedEx, we have UPS. They're private sector. They're in the private sector. They're much more efficient and cost effective. And we could still have postal services without a government agency, which has been turning red for the past few decades, I think. Billions of dollars every single year just flushed down a fucking toilet.
Well, because it's so expensive to employ all these people to deliver the mail.
Exactly. And that doesn't include the unfunded liabilities and retirement benefits.
Yeah.
So if you have a situation where one candidate hasn't said it out loud, pretty much wants to see it abolished, and good riddance, fucking get rid of it. The private sector can do it much more effectively. Anything in the postal service, especially. So if you have a candidate like Trump who wants to get rid of it, isn't really vocal about it, but kind of hints at it. And then you have somebody like Biden who's like, we should have more funding for the postal service. Well, naturally, if the vehicle or mechanism for voting is mail-in voting, then there's going to be some fuckery, especially if one candidate is backed by the USPS.
Yep.
I mean, it goes back. It's kind of like welfare, really. If you're on welfare, are you going to vote for the candidate who wants to take your welfare away? Or are you going to vote for the candidate who wants to expand your welfare benefits, the number and amount of your welfare benefits?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Who's going to vote for the guy that's going to wipe out their job? Nobody. Yeah. I mean, unless you're done with your job and you're just on your way out. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's legalized bribery.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a bold move taking a stand against it, but I guess my only question would be then, so if people are getting, I guess, would you say then everybody would just buy stamps same way like they do now, just private stamps? Because I guess you pay to send a letter, but it just must not be enough. So would the prices of delivering mail go up then?
Yeah, but not by a lot. And, we're in the 21st century. Our standard of living is obviously better than it was 2 or 3 centuries ago. So people would probably bitch about an increase of a few cents per postage stamp. But for the most part, we would just have a more efficient system.
Why doesn't the Postal Service do that right now? What's wrong with them just upping their prices? There's too much red tape or something? Is that what's going on with it?
I don't know. Or maybe they just want to just keep everything
just keep operating in the red. Like I guess that's the hard part for me to understand. If it's something that's not operating well and it's just going at such a significant loss, how is it that the private sector could just take that on? Because no company's going to want to be like, yes, I'm going to now operate at, much less than I was before. Like, no, they need to see increases, not decreases. So I would just, what would happen with that would be the big question.
FedEx and UPS would become government entities, and they'd be like, you know what, we're so ineffective and we're so cost ineffective and we're so shitty that we are now government programs, and we are going to
right back in the same boat.
Make everything, quote, cheaper at the expense of taxpayers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it must be that stamps need to be probably double their price. If they're that far off, like billions of dollars, that's a pretty significant loss. You'd have to...
And absolutely. Oh, you'd have to up your prices. And if people didn't want to pay it and they said, you know what, fuck it, we're just going to email or just meet up for coffee, then you're still in the red and you're still on the hook for those retiree benefits or retirement benefits. Paying that out, I guess. So whatever.
Oh my God. I don't even know what it's going to be like when we're way up there. What's the debt going to look like? I check it from time to time, and it's bad.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The U.S., if you go to, usdebtclock.org.
Dude, I got an app on my phone. I'll pull it up.
Check out the unfunded liability section at the bottom. Pretty staggering, pretty immense, pretty jaw-dropping and eye-opening.
Are you going to check it out with me?
Yeah, dude.
We're going to put it up here. All right, here we go. So there's that. Almost 27 trillion. 81,000 per citizen.
Per citizen.
Oh my God. I just have to give them all of the money that I make for about a little over 2 years. So did I pass on funded liabilities already? No, we're not there yet.
They're near the bottom.
Yeah, it's farther down.
I think, they're getting down there, like right there, up, maybe up a little bit. Or no?
I think it's down here.
Okay, all right.
Here it is, unfunded interest.
Holy fuck!
Oh my God! Look at how fast
Jesus tap dancing Christ!
Yeah, debt per citizen, 246,000. 246. Like
just keep printing off that money, hyperinflating that currency, and we'll get there.
Meanwhile, savings per family, 25 grand. 25.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh boy. The debt per family is almost $1 million fucking dollars. Debt per family, almost $1 million. Savings per family, 25,000. That is a gap.
Here we come, Greece. Yeah. We're coming after you. It's Greece, Venezuela. Bernie's. I just thought of Bernie's quote. You are more apt to live the dream in, what was it, Ecuador, Venezuela, than you are in the United States of America. What was it? Whatever his quote was.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, that aged well.
It might be true now. It might be
God
true.
damn it. God damn it.
Bitch.
Fucking ridiculous.
Dollar to gold ratio. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, the top 1%, they're doing pretty well. So what is this?
Cronyism, my friend. Cronyism. Smart with money, know how to offshore it. If you were rich, why the fuck would you keep a single penny in this country?
For real. Oh, okay, here it is. U.S. unfunded liabilities here at the bottom. Very, very last thing. Can you read that big fucking number? What is that? Is that billion? 154 billion?
No, I think it's more than that. It's in the trillions.
Oh yeah, 154 trillion. I can't. There's too many commas, too many fucking numbers. That is, yeah, million, billion, trillion. Woo.
I can't wrap my mind. I don't think we can wrap our minds around a billion, more or less a trillion.
Yeah, that's
Oh
fucking me
God,
up.
that's fucking wild.
What's up, Gary?
What's up, boys?
We're checking out unfunded liabilities.
All right, man, I gotta head out.
Ah, of course.
Oh, it's all good. You and Gary can do it up. Gary's got some insight, and
I don't know what unfunded liabilities necessarily means, but
Just all the money we're on the
That's
hook
all right.
for.
oh, yeah, that's a lot. We kind of fed, but I was just seeing what was going on.
I don't know. We've gone over Kenosha. We've gone over
mail-in voting.
Yeah, voting. We haven't really touched Biden too much, but talked about how just why not Trump at this point? How shit's going.
Right. Mega, baby. Trump 2020, let's go.
Seriously.
But we talked about Courtney Gower yet.
We have not. Sure you gotta go, Mitch?
All right.
You gotta go to work?
I gotta take a break. No, I don't have to go to work. I'm off the next few days. I gotta take a break though. Give me like 10 minutes.
Yeah, just take a break, come back.
Okay, sounds good, man.
All right.
All right. How do I all right.
Hit the
There we go.
phone with
Sweet.
the X or whatever.
There we go. Looking good, Gare.
Thanks, man. I worked all day in the yard.
There you go.
I'm redoing like a chunk of my yard, like the smallest portion, and it's just so much more work than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So it just sucks. Yard work.
It's always that way. You think, oh, this will be a simple little project. It's like if you want to do it right, then it takes a lot more time.
Yeah. I'm sure you probably had to put some stuff into your house now after how many years have you had it?
Yeah, I think we're on, I don't even know, 5 years, something like that.
So you put some money into it at this point.
Oh yeah, done some updates, put in a couple new sinks, random little shit. I'm gonna redo a bathroom, so it's
That's fun. By yourself, or you having
projects.
someone help you?
I'm gonna have people help me. My parents
Yeah.
have done a lot of work over their lifetime, so I think I'm just gonna have them pass some knowledge, bring their tools with, because I don't want to invest all that money in tools yet.
Isn't it just weird how like parents, like dads, just know how to do shit?
Yep.
Like, when did you learn this? Like,
I see
who
now.
taught you this? Oh yeah.
Well, I
So,
guess, yeah, how did they learn it? I can just Google shit, watch a YouTube video.
yeah, they'd have somebody
They'll probably
teach
just
them,
wing it.
or
Yeah.
just trial and error. Like,
Yeah. Or you go to college, actually, to go learn shit then. That's right.
Yeah, right, don't
Schooling used to
enter
be
the
worth
working
it.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, we've actually been pretty lucky, and the only thing we've had to put money into was our furnace went out once, and that was like $600 to pay or to fix. And then when I fixed the water line to our fridge, when I moved the stove out, whoever did it before had some pretty shoddy workmanship, and the copper pipe to the stove busted off. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
you can't turn the gas back on. Like, you can't. There's no way to do this without pretty much having somebody who knows their shit come in and like do it. And that costs like $300. But that was like within 2 weeks of each other, and
Damn.
since then, really, it's been self-inflicted stuff.
Sure. Yeah, it's
Fair
always
cap.
the shitty handymen that come before you. I hate that shit. Like,
There's so many things in this house that I'm like, why the fuck would they do it that way?
what were you doing? Like the painting in this house. They painted all the walls. They must have just chose a look right before, like when they were selling it.
Yeah,
The walls are so shittily painted. Like, it's so
Really?
bad.
they didn't use primer or it's chipping or what?
That, or they also didn't put down tape or anything. So some
Oh,
of
really?
the paint will just run onto the ceiling or vice versa, and you can see like they must have had different days where they painted, and the shade of it is just totally different. You can just see it as you're going up the stairs. It's like it looks like a shadow, but it's not. It's the
Or
shade
they,
of the
that means, I think that means they put more layers on than other ones.
yeah, something like that.
Are you gonna redo it eventually?
Oh yeah, like we're planning
mean-
on repainting the house, doing it the right way, having the walls have like clean edges cuz
Yeah.
yeah, up in our room it's terrible. It's
Really?
yeah, I've noticed it more and more as time's gone on. Like when you go in, like we looked at a bunch of houses and they were just white, plain, like grandma houses is the way I would
Yeah.
explain it. Like it just reminded me of my grandparents' place. Even smelt like it. And then when we walked into this house, this was the most updated house it seemed out of all the ones we looked at. Like this was our 7th or 8th house that we looked at. And we're like, all right,
Yeah.
let's put an offer down. It was in our price range, big enough. But then yeah, after time, like looking at all this, like first I'm blown away, but now after living here, I'm like, yeah, this shit's fucked up. There's a lot of things wrong with it, but
When you
that's
sell
the
a
fun
house,
of it.
when you sell a house, you have to do so much shit to like make it look good and stuff like that. That so many people just do it so quickly.
Hmm.
That's and I mean,
They
full
did well
prices.
enough to fool me though. So props to them.
Like, there's some things in this house that like let me see if I can flip my camera around. Like they just left like I don't know if I can zoom in, like a TV mount on the wall that doesn't actually fit the TV I have. It's like old school, and it's like I could just take it down, but like
right.
at this whatever.
It's one of those things that could go either way.
Well, if I take it down, there's gonna be like like little holes and like paint, probably stuff like that. Where I might as well just leave it up instead of repainting the basement. So
Yeah. Yeah.
'cause- But like even like if you look at like the upstairs bathroom, there's tile like halfway up the wall in the shower. Like it looks just like half tile.
Hmm.
And like if you actually look at the tiles and like they're so uneven, like it doesn't really bug you until you notice it.
Yep.
Like it looks nice at first, but then you actually take a look and you're like, holy hell, like these things are like centimeters off, like multiple. Like
Hmm.
but I'm not gonna fucking redo it. It's like
I know. It's tough. I
because you can't just fix one thing, you have to redo the whole thing and it costs a lot more money that way.
Yep. Well, with mine, the shower that they put in here, so they built like a 3/4 shower or a bath is what I think it is, just because there's 3 walls up and the one wall's gone.
Yeah.
The basement bathroom here, if you've seen it, and the shower was just so poorly put together, and water leaks out
Really?
through the edge. Yeah, and it's kind of been eating away at the wall over time, over the years that we've been here. So like they put that in right before they sold the house, so I don't think they had any idea really how it worked out. And I've tried resealing it, but I just think in the winter time, it's in the basement, so I think there's just too much that happens, and I would just have to reseal it like every year, and I just want to redo the fucking thing at this point, just because of the damage, because I didn't notice it. I had no idea until all of a sudden, like I poke the wall, and it's all soft because it's been soaking over the years.
That's mold, bro.
Oh, I know. That's why I need to replace it and take it all out. Like it's all fucked up. So,
There's some really good paint you can buy. That's like mold kill. It's like a primer that you put down first. It'll kill the mold on stuff.
oh, and I've sprayed it with bleach just to take care of what I've got right now. But I know that I need to just redo
Bite
it.
the bullet.
Yeah, like it all looked nice. I'm like, oh sweet, here's another shower. But now it's just fucking shit up.
So the people before us, they, like those refrigerators, like on one door where you can like press the button for ice and water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had that, but they removed that for a reverse osmosis filter next to the sink. And the way the pipe's set up, you can only have one. And we don't like the reverse osmosis filter because it works great for like the first 3 seconds, but then the water pressure goes super low. And so finally, after a year and a half of being here, we like, okay, let's fit. And it was when I was home from on my COVID quarantine. So finally gonna do that. So pulled everything out, and
Yeah.
like the line runs from the sink, and then it goes behind the wall through like the around the corners, like through the cabinets. But they instead of like properly removing the line, they just cut it. They pulled the stove out and snipped it, and so water got everywhere. So like we had to kill, and I found more and more, and like had used all the mold killing paint and like the bleach and stuff like that. And it's like, this is just so lazy for like, why it takes 2 seconds to pull the line out. Why do you just cut it? Like,
Yeah, fucking idiots.
but whatever, I get it, because that's what people do when they move houses. Like,
Yeah, people are lazy.
next year we're doing our driveway, and that's not cheap.
No.
Because we're doing concrete.
Yeah. It'll be
So
nice,
much
though.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be nice. And like the yard will be good, and then the year after that we're gonna redo the deck, which that's probably like $4 or $5 grand,
Yeah.
maybe less. But yeah, it adds up.
Yeah, I have to redo my deck/garage as well. It's one of my
Ooh.
big projects.
Well, if you're gonna redo the roofing on the garage and the shingles, I know how to do that, so I can come up and
Yeah.
help if you want. Work for beer.
Wow. Cheap.
So.
Well, the good beer, right?
Yeah. Don't go buy me some Bud Light or something like.
Yeah, just get a 24 pack. What is it? It's just some shitty Wisconsin beer. I can't even remember what it's called.
Old Milwaukee's best.
Yeah, probably.
Don't insult Old Mill, because I'll drink an Old Mill Red Label if I have to.
Yeah, I can't even do beer. I just do ciders, so I'll usually have something decent, IPAs or something like that. Yeah, it fucks me up. And I tested it just again the other day. All somebody had was beer, so it's like, fuck it, I'll do it. I just had 2, and I could just feel it.
Have you been to Duluth Cider Company yet?
Yes, I've been drinking quite a bit of their
How do
beer.
you like it?
It's good shit.
Yeah.
Or not beer, ciders.
I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Let me go grab one. I'll be right back.
All right. Somebody jump in.
Nope.
It's just me, but I gotta.
It's not even Duluth cider, dude.
Well, what is it?
It's Wild State. It's backwards,
Oh.
isn't it?
No, that works. How is it?
It's good. This one's got no sugar in it. That's the big thing with Angry Orchard is it just fucks your stomach up with all the sugar. But this one is like 7% alcohol, no sugar.
I'll get you.
Dude, I have 3 of them and I'm fucked up. That's all it
You
takes.
said New Yorker's started, and here comes Mitch.
Yeah. That's all it takes. Did you have Chipotle today, Mitch? What'd you do for your birthday?
Yeah, how's your birthday, buddy?
What did I do for my birthday? I just went sightseeing. I went to Willow Falls, then I went to Cascade Falls, Minnehaha Falls, and I went to that Franconia statue park, which would be fun to walk through if you're fucked up on peyote or mescaline or something.
One of someone I knew from she had something at Hampton Theater Trust, and she worked with me a lot for work, and she had let go because of COVID. Her position was eliminated. She's super nice. She just became the membership director of that sculpture park. I just learned about that the other day. I want to go check it out.
It's pretty sweet. It's when you cross like if you're coming from Osceola, Wisconsin, which I don't know why you would be. It's just right across. It's right across there, and I think it's up north a few miles, and then you just kind of bump into it.
Yeah,
and it's pretty sweet. It's actually really cool.
Worth being. Could you spend a couple hours there, or is it not?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They have a lot of cool welding projects too, that are kind of inward in the park or at the park, and I enjoyed it.
Oh, I wanted to check it out since I learned about it about a week ago.
Sweet.
Never heard of it.
Let's start pounding some cans of Wild State and then just fucking crash there.
I can't drink cider. If I can have like 1 or 2, but anything more than that, it fucks my stomach up so bad.
It's probably the sugar.
Yeah, maybe the no sugar one would help a lot.
Yeah,
it's not MHL gut rot though, is it?
It's close. Like What the time I learned about it was when I was a year after I graduated. When I worked at the bar in Bemidji, I drank 2 pitchers of Angry Orchard by myself one night.
Oh
Jeez.
yeah.
I
Oh
had to
my
work a
god.
16-hour shift there the next day in the kitchen,
Dude.
hung over as hell, like the worst gut rot of my life.
Yeah.
It was miserable. And then
That's
like anything sweet except for Claws, I can crush White Claws.
of course.
Nice, dude. Well, Ryan, at your wedding, you had those kegs of Strongbow, didn't you?
Yep.
I held myself to a glass or two because I had to drive home, but I can't imagine what it would have been like to drink the equivalent of 2 pitchers worth of that shit.
Oh man.
Oh my god. Fuck.
I know my dad had a few. That's for sure. He enjoyed it.
There you go.
Have you heard of snake bite?
No.
I
Snake
think
bite.
of what the bottom. It's like some kind of alcohol. I think it's not Guinness. It's some like dark alcohol with like Strongbow on top of it, and it's not bad actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a beer with like Strongbow on top, dark beer with Strongbow on top, and it's not bad. But anywho, back to the politics. Is COVID still a thing? Like,
I think I don't know. It's a hard one to answer because it kind of gets brought up like when we talk about the Nancy Pelosi situation, but it's not about like COVID itself.
no.
It's just about the way people are behaving. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, like the CDC coming out and saying that, and then like now it's they were pressured to do that. So my question is, were they pressured to lie, or were they pressured to release information?
Yeah, what were they pressured to do? Because
all
they've said is what it was that 6% or so were strictly COVID positives, where other ones had other factors involved. So it's like if you died of heart disease, but you had COVID, you were counted as a COVID death for now.
Yep. I mean, it's not a free pass where, it was all BS, because it's still like relevant that it's what we've always known where, if you have a pre-existing condition,
sure,
and you're more susceptible to it. So that doesn't change anything. But it's the economy shutting down,
the reaction to it. Yeah. Well, because it's like if you have the flu, we don't just shut down during flu season because you might, if you go see your grandma and you got the sniffles, you might take her out. It's like that has been a thing forever. I mean, why all of a sudden the great fear over it, especially as modern medicine is what it is. I mean, we've come farther than where we were 50 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of similar to like HIV and AIDS, where AIDS doesn't actually kill you. It's your immune system gets so suppressed that something else does, but it's a result of it. So that's the closest draw that I can pull to it. But like the effects on the economy are going to be so long lasting that if it gets turned around somehow, then, and like the vaccine thing is just bullshit still. Like it took 15 years for them to make a chickenpox vaccine, like, and now you expect us to do something in less than a year, like.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this might be the narrative for the next 4 years at least, as long as Trump's president.
Christ, Jesus, I hope not.
I mean, they're going to use Trump.
Well, absolutely, but if Trump wins, they're going to use the excuse that he didn't fully endorse or embrace mail-in voting and mandate it federally.
Well, we just have a new Russiagate.
So we're going to have to... Yeah, it's going to be the new Russiagate. They're going to fucking bitch and moan about that, even though Trump has made Minnesota his battleground state, and there's a good chance it'll go red in November. If he does win Minnesota since... When was the last time? 76?
73.
Or, 76, 72, somewhere around there.
Damn.
Yeah, 72 those, Early 70s.
So if he does win Minnesota, that's the excuse they're going to use. It's going to be like Hillary using the excuse that the reason why she didn't campaign in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin was because, like, the Russian hackers put out a bunch of misinformation stating that the polls had her locked up and locked in for a win in those states. So we're just going to hear about this shit now. I don't want to fucking hear about it. We already have to hear about enough about how Trump's a dictator, even though he hasn't imprisoned or killed any journalists.
Yeah,
We've been fucking hearing about that nonstop, and it's so goddamn annoying.
it is. It is.
He's the worst dictator out there.
Yeah,
He's pretty bad at it.
that's
makes
the first.
Kim Jong-un look like a god, dude.
Like if you were a journalist in Mao's China, Hitler's Germany, Stalinist Russia,
Yep.
Pol Pot's Cambodia,
Seriously.
you were the first person, or you were the first type of person he went after because you questioned the state's narrative.
Yeah.
How many journalists has Trump imprisoned and or
Oh my god.
killed?
Dissenting voices for years.
Yeah, exactly. And
No
so
deaths.
And so the left has been crazy about that for the past 4 years, about how, it's just going to be the worst. There are going to be like exterminations because he's such a dictator and journalists are going to be killed. So it's going to be that level of doomsaying and fear-mongering and just chaotic nature, but applied to mail-in voting if he does win and they don't do mail-in voting in the states that he does win.
Yep.
The narrative I actually hate more is that Trump's a racist, because if he's a racist, he's the best damn racist this country's ever had. Like, look at the First Step Act. Look at the funding for the historically black colleges and universities. Like, Obama never did that. Biden never did that.
No, he did the opposite.
Yeah, Ryan and I were just talking about that at the start of the podcast, how Biden authored the 94 crime bill and a bunch of other legal measures and bills and legislation to basically fuel mass incarceration. And it is interesting because if Trump was a racist, he wouldn't have passed the First Step Act.
No.
Yep.
And like, Harris is arguably the most pro-cop candidate that we've ever seen.
Of course.
She made a name for herself.
And she covered up clergy abuse. We can't forget that.
Yeah. So like, it's so like ridiculous to me that like you can sit here and claim that Trump and Pence are racist, but the two people you're running are. It's like, how dumb do they think we are? It's almost to that point where they're not even hiding anymore.
If anything, he's more of a nationalist, which like the left still sees as like bad, even though, I disagree with this tariff policy and various other policies that actually kind of like hurt the domestic populace and economy. But they don't brand him as a nationalist unless it's like white nationalist. They just say he's a racist without mentioning the fact that it's really not racism, it's more nationalism. It's kind of like when somebody says the police are super racist. Well, stemming from the 90s, they're less racist, but they're more classist when it comes to community policing for victimless crimes. Right? So they completely fucking missed the boat on labels.
Yeah.
It's
completely
just,
missed the boat.
Like, and here's the thing, like, there's no politician that's going to agree with that. You, me, Ryan, anyone's going to agree on doing everything perfect. There's things Trump do that I don't agree with. He fucked over the farmers pretty good.
Oh yeah,
but,
especially in Wisconsin. Dairy farmers in Wisconsin are fucked.
Ron Paul is probably the closest thing to a perfect candidate, but he can't win anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just got fucked over.
I'm a Bush fan, W fan, but I don't think he was the perfect president. People who liked Obama, well, he did a lot of things that we liked, but he's not the perfect president. Like, you're never going to find a perfect politician. And right now, the biggest things I care about is taking this fucking country back. If you watch the DNC and the RNC, which I didn't, but I just pretty much read the reviews online, it seems like one party kept sitting there screaming, we hate America, and one party kept there screaming, we love America. And I'm going to fucking side with the part that loves it. Bring back the nationalists. Like, bring back the country-loving hicks. Like, I'd rather deal with them than BLM or Antifa. Like,
yeah. I mean, who wants to live in a country where everybody is just fucking miserable cunts all the fucking time? That's what we've got with the left. They're not happy about a goddamn thing that happens.
Well, what they want to do is, like you were saying, they're not happy about anything that isn't or doesn't result in living in a postmodernist society.
Well, yeah, there needs to be these just. It's always got to be a little bit extra, There's got to be that extra flair. Something about black people. You got to add the little extra shit on there. It's like everything's so there it is. That's what it is. It's all so charged with this extra shit.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what they
racist,
need.
It's homophobic. It's or misogynistic. Like, it's fucking the thing about equality is that everybody has an equal opportunity. Not that everybody's equal. You're never gonna live in a world where everybody is completely equal.
Right.
And in
It's
the
a-
socialist environment that they want, where they think it'll bring equals, it makes everyone's life equally shitty. Where the people who are running it is equally great. Like the working class, the modern class, the middle class, like nobody benefits from that, except for maybe the poor, and like it just becomes class welfare at that point, and it just gets ridiculous.
Yeah, warfare. It's. I mean, you can either have equal outcomes or try for equal outcomes, or you can have equal opportunities. You can't have both.
Yeah.
Because people are inherently different and will deviate from normalcy in terms of effort, likes, wants, down to physical attributes.
Yeah.
You can't live in a society where everybody's equal without everybody having nothing. You just got to embrace capitalism. Decides who's stupid and who dies. Like, at the end of the day, and like, I'd rather have everybody have the same opportunity, because if you're saying, okay, somebody of a certain race or gender doesn't have the same opportunity as other people in different areas, okay, that's not fair. I'll fight for that. But is it true? For one, like, the wage gap's a myth.
Yep.
If you can bring me solid evidence that one group of people is less likely to succeed than the other because of systematic problems, I'll hear about that, and I'll say that's not right. What can we do to fix that? But if it's a bunch of made up bullshit,
it's also illegal. Don't forget that part. So if
exactly.
they can prove it to you, they could prove it in a court of law and make some fucking money. So that's why I just don't agree with what people are saying, because I am sure. Have you ever been in the position of hiring people?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know exactly how it goes. You can't discriminate based on race, and if they know about it, you're fucked. I mean, I hired almost anybody that applied just to give them a shot, and then I would let them go if it didn't work out. So it became totally skill based. Totally.
Yep. You show up on time, you're hired at some points. Like,
that's if you come in and you do enough, you can stick around. It's the people that don't even do enough to be able to stick around. Like, and that's bad. Because it's easy to do enough.
Yeah. Just to get hired, for at some points it was so bad that it's like, if you show up and you don't scare me away in any way possible, you are hired. Like, plain and simple, you're in, let's go.
Yeah, certain industries, exactly like you guys were saying, certain industries are so understaffed that they'll even hire individuals with a violent or nonviolent criminal record.
Or somebody with 30 jobs in a year like you.
He has one consistent job and a lot of different jobs for a short amount of time.
What is your tax returns like? How many W-2s do you get?
Well, some years. Well, the thing is, I recently got hired by Puma.
What the fuck?
No, listen.
He's got another one.
I got hired by Puma, and she was like, "Okay, well, starting out for wage, we're looking at paying you $10.50 an hour."
Oh, God, 50 cents above minimum.
Yeah, and she's like, "Are you okay with that?" And I was like, "Of course I am, ma'am." But in my head, I was like, "No, I'm not showing up to my second interview." And so then I got the usual. This is like the 7th or 8th fucking retail job where I get a second interview and I'm basically hired, and she's asking me to bring all my stuff in, and I just don't show up, and then I get like 2 or 3 voicemails, and she calls, that poor woman, she's like, "Mitchell, are you okay?" Like, did something happen? Because I was supposed to show up.
Oh, and I'm sure you just sold her too on the first one, because you're gonna put on a nice face and you're gonna be like, "Yeah, I'll be there. I'm so excited. I'm happy to take that amount of money," and then just don't show up.
I was like,
"Where's the place that you went and you worked like 5 or 6 shifts? Then you went to BK for lunch and you just didn't go back after your lunch break?"
Levi's. What happened? What happened was, I was on a shift at Levi's, and I was working with one of my favorite coworkers of all time. Her name was Rachel.
Oh,
and,
come on!
It was a large store, and we were about to a busload full of people from Winnipeg was about to arrive and at a certain time, scheduled time, and they usually hit the Levi's store pretty hard because everybody wants jeans and jean jackets and whatnot.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So there had to be a person on the floor and then a person kind of in back, going back and forth between the floor and the inventory. And I was like, can I go for my lunch break? And she was folding jeans, and she was like squatted out folding jeans. She's like, oh yeah, go ahead, Mitch. And then I went to Burger King. I remember what I fucking got. I got a plain cheeseburger and a strawberry shake. And then I drove back in the parking lot, right in front of Levi's. I got done eating it and drinking my shake. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to fucking work here anymore. And then I just drove off. I drove back home here, which is like 3 or 4 miles away. And then she called me and she left a voicemail. She's like, Mitch, did something happen? Did you get in a car accident? Like, the group from Winnipeg is here. Like, the bus got here. I really need some help.
Those fucking
if you can come back,
Canadians.
thanks. The fucking Canucks flooded the store, and she had to go back and forth trying to fucking help everybody. I was like, oh my, I didn't even think about it. Here's how much of an asshole I am. I didn't even think about it when I finished my fucking shake and cheeseburger and wanted to go home and just do nothing except post memes to you fuckers.
Oh my God.
I just thought like, hey, it's a nice day outside. I'm just going to leave. And then it was such a huge store. There were like 2 parts right in the corner. And, that poor woman had to work for probably 2 or 3 hours just nonstop. She probably burned like fucking 1,000 calories.
Oh my God.
You're an asshole.
Seriously.
I'm such an asshole.
It's
dude.
like-
I'd be so pissed if that happened to me.
I would be pissed too. Like, you try to hire and staff for a big event that you got going on, or just you schedule the people for the day, and then in the middle of the shift, like, did you even clock out?
No.
Oh my God.
I looked at the fucking store. I saw her moving back and forth. I felt sad for like a nanosecond. Then I was like, I don't want to work. I don't want to work today. Deuces, fam. Deuces.
That would have been something if you had been up in the window and just like walk away.
Ugh.
You
Oh my
son
God.
of a bitch. Have you worked at every clothing place in the Albertville strip mall?
I think there was a time.
The outlet mall.
There was a time when I worked at like one out of every 10 stores. Or
Oh,
I had worked
at
I had worked
least.
at one out of every 10 stores in the outlet mall. But when I got
You worked
rehired
with my
for
brother.
yeah, for half a shift with Dawn, the manager. I was supposed to show up for orientation, but she's like, "Yeah, you can be here at when the store opens at 8 or 9." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm looking forward to it." And I was like, "I'm really looking forward to joining the team, Dawn. I can't wait to see you tomorrow morning." And then I hopped online. I stayed up all night pounding MHL and shit posting. And then I just didn't show up. And then I got the voicemail. And then a bunch of other people that I knew at the store, they were like, "Hey, man, what's going on? You're supposed to show up to your shift." Because they saw my number and I was supposed to work with them. I didn't. And that was that. But I got paid for a shift. I got paid for like the hour I came in for like my pre-orientation.
Oh my God. How is it that you maintain this one job for so long if it doesn't take much for you to leave any other one?
Yeah, and you put up some BS at your current job too.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I put up with some real shit, but the pay is a little bit better, but thing is
Like,
I don't know
how
what it
much
is.
better, though?
Dude, well, a few more dollars an hour, but I get all the OT I want. It's pretty flexible scheduling, and it's just it's almost like it's a non-sexual fetish for me, if that's even possible, because I think fetish implies that it's sexual, but it's
I
like
think
a
so.
non-sexual fetish of like getting hired at the outlet mall and then just fucking quitting and then just saying, nope, not working today.
I just feel so bad for the people on the other side. Like,
Right? I've been there. Like,
exactly.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. How have I not been blacklisted? How am I allowed anywhere near the fucking Elberville Mall?
Well, because you go based off of references. If you're not putting down like references, because I honestly I didn't give a shit about your references.
no.
Like especially if I'm working in that sort of a setting, you just hire people and you go with the flow.
The only
Because
time I check references if you're you're like a managerial position. Like,
yeah.
Even that, sometimes like fuck it, I'm gonna hire you. You seem
But
good.
still,
Right.
like managers should talk to each other in that setting when they get together, like every month or 2 months to kind of talk about like floor plans and things like layouts. There should be a giant billboard outside
your
the
face.
Elberville Mall, put out there by managers paying out of their own pockets, saying, "Fuck Mitchell Lee Driver, he's an asshole."
Yeah, but that's slander, and you could sue the fuck out of them.
No, but it's totally
But
accurate.
You could.
it doesn't mean it's not slander.
Yeah. They
Or
would
what if they said?
be in
What if
some
it just
shit.
said Mitchell Lee Driver is just a shithead because he shows up, he gets hired for retail interviews and then just doesn't show up for them.
Just funny as it would be, just from a legal standpoint, you can't
True,
say
true.
anything about an employee. Like, this is what I'm
Yeah.
saying, though, about as far as discrimination goes. Like, you can't actively call, because this is what my old boss did. And he knew he was in some deep shit. He called my new boss and started saying shit about me. And then we almost got into a big fucking fight over it, but he's not worth it. I didn't want to go through it.
Sure.
And so the most that any employer can do is call any references that you have and just say, would you hire this person again? Yes or no? Like a simple yes or no question. That's it. They can't spill a bunch of deets about you. It's all yes or no questions. That's all you can do.
You can say as many good things as you want, but yeah, you can't. Like I have a former sales or former employee that she was phenomenal at her job, but she was super smart and she knew how to play the game, and she'd call off 3 times a month as soon as the 30-day period was up, and like you could almost predict when she was going to call off because she was just following the handbook and like using her sick pay and stuff. It's like you're playing a game and you're screwing everyone else over. Like,
right.
But you're really good at your job, so it's
that's basically what one of my managers is doing now. But he's not good at his job. He's just, oh my god, it's a clusterfuck and whatever.
He's screwing everybody over and he sucks at his job.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and everybody knows it, and everybody's pissed and wants to have a meeting with the higher ups, but they don't want to have a meeting. He kind of milked like medical leave and some other stuff. I can't really talk about it.
Well, why don't you gun for the position?
I don't want the responsibility, and with the OT and everything, I could just get paid more. So,
No, fair enough.
fuck, it's tight. But Gary, did you start your new job yet?
No, I start on Tuesday.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I have to like fix
Fuck
my
yeah.
after doing overnights for 5 months. Like I have to kind of have a couple days off to reset my sleep schedule.
Yeah.
I can't just go right back to days
Okay.
after doing overnight for 5 months. So
Gotcha.
yeah, but I'm a really shitty employee, and I'm like, you know, hey, I know because I can't start till after Memorial or Labor Day because I was supposed to start on Monday, but they're like, hey, it's Labor Day, don't come in. It's like, oh, by the way, I need Friday off for a pre-planned thing I had.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
No,
like,
I do it whenever I get hired, and then right before the orientation, you know, where it says like, when can you work? What's your availability? For me, except I'm more of a piece of shit. I'll say, yeah, I can come in, but the first week I'm actually heading out to Colorado or Washington State, and I'm gonna need that the latter half of that week off. And then they're like, okay, perfect. We can adjust accordingly. And then I just don't show up for orientation, but go on, Gary.
well, so like mine is a situation where it's like, you know, I've had this my last job for 2 years, and it's like I put all my PTO on way early with that and stuff with them for those days, and So I didn't really think about it till, oh shit, I have a new job. I better let them know. So I called my director. She was cool about it. Yeah. So also when I thought I had COVID, which I don't think I did actually, maybe, I don't know, who knows. But I had those 2 weeks, I had to quarantine for 14 days. They charged all of my sick pay. And in Minneapolis, you stop accruing sick pay in September or something like that. So I was negative 30 hours of sick pay when my position was eliminated. But I had 30 hours of vacation, and they don't do vacation payout with my company. You just lose it. So technically, I was on the hook for 30 hours. And I'm like, I reached out to a couple of people with HR. I'm like, can I have this? Like, can we just call it even? And so because they eliminated my position, they just said, "Yep, you're good." So I didn't have to pay in, and I'm still getting a month's severance, and I got a new job that pays me more with better hours and safer. So
that's a win, dude.
Yeah, and it's career advancement. Really can add closer to home. Better, really couldn't ask for much more than what I got.
Blessing in disguise, right there.
There's so many people out there that's like, oh, I got let go from my position. I can't find work. Blah blah blah. And it's like, I've had 2 job offers, and I applied and was essentially offered the job in less than a week for 2 different jobs now.
Wow.
Since I found out my position was being eliminated. So I don't know why people are saying they can't find work, because
everyone's hiring.
Not much. Yeah. It's not much out there, but people got to really, they aren't the job I just got hired for, I had to kind of dig for it and find it, but it didn't take me that long. So
yeah, and it depends on what you're looking for. It's not like every job imaginable is hiring, but there's lots of people hiring, lots of people struggling to find decent people.
I mean, if I couldn't have found work after my month of severance pay, or even before that, I would have started doing deliveries for Uber Eats or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's those sorts of jobs,
bartender, or
food
whatever.
Places, yeah, are going to be hiring like crazy.
So I don't know. People just don't. I don't know. I don't really want to say, oh, people don't want to work, because they do, but people want their old jobs back, and that's just not happening anymore.
Right. Times are changing, and for you, it worked out for the better. It seems like.
Yeah.
Even though it's a scary thing to go through. I'm at the 1-year anniversary of quitting PJs now. I just realized that because it was the end of August when I was done.
Yeah, dude.
So here I am a year later. I'm still kicking.
Did you ever have any worries that you won't have a job to go back to after COVID, or did you kind of always assume your job would be back ready for you when things got back up again?
I mean, I knew that I would always have a job anywhere, just because I think that I have the resume that would get me into most places. Just working at one place consistently for 10 years straight.
Yeah.
Climbing the ladder there. I mean, I could just be I worked my way through every position and then ran a store for 7 years almost. And
how did you get into PJs? Just apply? And
my cousin worked there, and I walked in, and the manager said that they were looking for people, and I basically just raised my hand and was like, I'll work. Yeah. 18, started being a delivery driver, and then was a manager within a year or so. Just learned the ropes.
Hell yeah. But, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I went through it myself, just climbing the ladder, learning the system inside and out, how to do this, do that. And then before you know it, you're worth more money because you can do more, you're more valuable.
Would you ever go back to the food industry, or probably not?
I mean, I'm already working in food. I make food every day.
It's kind of different, though.
Yeah, it's catering, but as far as working in customer service food, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the tough part. I hate fucking people so goddamn much. I just went up to Papa John's today after not going there for a couple months, and I talked to the GM. He's going through the same exact shit I was going through. Working 30 days straight, getting no time off, can't hire people, the owner's a piece of shit, customers fucking suck. He loves making pizzas. I'm like, yeah, that's the only plus side, is when you're just making the food. But then I hate people these days, dude. So entitled. I can't imagine being in the hotel industry. People are fucking nuts.
It ruins you. Everyone starts there. I love people. I love working with people, and you generally enjoy it. And then you do it long enough, and you just become so cynical, and you fucking hate people. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how much do you have to deal with people on overnights driver?
Not a whole lot. Just cleaning and
Describe your job to us. What is a typical shift like?
I've been doing a lot of afternoon and like early morning shifts as of late because, like I said, like the whole thing with my manager, but having to cover up his shifts. But mainly overnights are pretty easy. Do a lot of cleaning, kind of organizing things, maybe some filing, but like personal cares. My overnights are done at high medical facilities or sites rather. And so I'll do personal cares and check on them in the middle of the night because a few of them aren't high functioning and they're nonverbal, and I just, basically try to get them to go to bed. But yeah, my sleep pattern has been completely fucked.
Oh yeah,
I've
seen that.
Like every other. I've just been a fucking zombie lately, and so has everybody else for the company and in the human services industry in general. But I think everybody's sleep pattern is just fucked up for the most part. It takes so much discipline to get it back on track, and I don't think I'm up to the task.
do you prefer overnights normally or no?
It depends on the week. I mean, they're not
You had to pick a consistent shift and say you're going to work this for the next 3 months.
probably afternoon shifts.
Yeah,
They're a lot better, but I just need to learn to say no to extra shifts and actually make some time. I was going to go out to Colorado either this week or the next week, but they have those big ass wildfires out there. That'll be the fourth or fifth trip of mine that got canceled this year. But thankfully KLM reimbursed me and refunded my Iceland trip or my Iceland flight.
Oh, that's good.
Recently.
Yeah,
so then I just bought a 38 Bodyguard, and I couldn't find ammo for it anywhere except H&H Sports Shop in Maple Lake, and it's just shelves are stocked with ammo.
Have you tried it yet?
No, not yet. But it's just so weird that at Cabela's and everywhere else there's no ammo.
Do you go to some little shop or something? How big is that store?
H&L or H&H, whatever it is, super small, like hometown, Maple Lake, Minnesota, like outdoors place. And you might want to take that thing to a range because handguns are trickier to shoot and aim than you think.
No, for sure, definitely. But I'm just super comfortable with it, and I'm excited to take to the range and just test it out. But
how long until you apply at Cabela's?
Oh, I've already gotten
damn it.
emails about it because I called because I said I was interested when I walked in and
of course
got my revolver and everything after my background check went through. They're like, yeah, we definitely need staff here in the shoe department. I'm like, if I can really get discounts at Cabela's on top of their awards programs, then I might stay here for 3 shifts.
Just to buy some ammo and leave.
Yeah.
Discounts at places like that are kind of goofy, like because I don't think you get discounts on firearms. Maybe
Probably
ammo,
but probably not
firearms.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know, any job that like where it's throwing your schedule around, like you're going with, or like what Ryan does, like at PJs and the shit I used to deal with, like when I was in management, not just in sales, like. It really, like, the older you get, like, it really F's your life up. Like, if you're, like, 20, 18, 19, 20 to, maybe 25, like, you can do that kind of stuff. But, like, I'm sure, like, Ryan, probably, you're happy you can actually see your wife on a consistent basis. And, like, Mitch, like, I'm sure you would like to travel on a consistent basis and, like, actually plan and schedule stuff. Not be like, oh, shit, I'm working 30 days straight. Or,
pretty much.
Oh, I have to cover this shift. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's consistency. It's a game changer because otherwise you're planning shit. It gets thrown out the window. You get to the point where I don't want to do anything. You have no social life. All I do is work, and it's a miserable existence.
And you can't plan stuff. Your friends are like, hey, you want to hang out this weekend? Like, yeah, I'm probably working and probably can't take it off. So no.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
if it's not a typical 9 to 5 job, then like your schedules don't sync with other people's schedules or normal workers or friends' schedule.
Yeah.
And so you can't even hang out. I mean, it's kind of shitty, but whatever.
Yeah, the worst part about mine is it's early. I have to be up. I'm gonna have to start getting up at 5:30, which means I just can't stay up late. It's not even bad, but I don't think I don't think 5:30 is bad. It's just the going to bed early part. I hate that.
Oh yeah, dude.
My
Fuck
sales
that.
days are 8 to 5 normally, and I think they will be at the new place. And like,
Nice.
I can go to
dude.
bed at like 10, 11 o'clock and wake up. But there's always that day like, oh, I have a banquet I have to go in for and make sure everything's set up right. Or, oh, I have a meeting today, or I have an event, blah, blah, blah. It's like those days you have to wake up at 5:30. It's like, oh.
For sure.
Yeah, if you're on overnights, if that's what you're used to.
Overnights, fucking, they've been tough. Like, I pretty much stay up as late as possible and then go to bed and then wake up. So I treat like, say my shit. And like, it wasn't like I was just doing like 10 to 6 or anything. Like, I was salary, so for the longest time I was doing 6 to 6, 4 days a week. Like, so I pretty much have 12 hours to try and do something. And then like every day, like my first day off of my 2 days, like if I don't stay up all day, like I feel like it's a wasted day off. Like,
Yep.
so I just stayed up all day for as long as I could.
Yes.
So
That shit's fucking sucks, dude. That
It does blow.
it kept me a job over COVID, so
yeah, it's
I
something.
would have
but
actually
just
made more
sucks.
unemployment and the $600 to be honest, but
Yeah.
like I have a hard time. I would go nuts if I like didn't have something constructive to do.
I was starting to lose it for a little bit. It's tough being locked up. Well, then it's basically you're just working on where you live. If you have your own home, at least, because you can't go out and do much. There's nothing you could really do. I could go to Menards still.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've spent some money at Home Depot. Like,
yep, that's actually all we did was Home Depot or Menards and updated some shit. Like, seriously, we got a new sink. It just, yeah, man. It's a tough call when, I don't know.
because there's fucking economy shut down over this shit.
What's that?
But it sucks that we're finding out that this is what our economy was shut down over.
Oh yeah, it's pathetic.
And like, if you were to take like the flu, the common cold, like a bunch of other asymptomatic things, then like test as much as we have for COVID, there'd be just as many positive numbers. Like, it's just
well, and then,
and like,
how are we supposed to respond? That's kind of what I was getting at. Was just the unemployment side of it. We want to keep the economy going, but when the government's handing out hundreds of dollars a week, like, what are you supposed to do?
yeah, like it's just like Minnesota. For like, let's be honest, Minnesota's handled COVID incredibly well, like from a numbers standpoint. Like,
Yeah,
we're middle of the pack in cases. We're super low on death. Our ICUs were never, more than 3% full. Like the numbers are so low. Like everything indicates that Tim Walz should have given up his emergency powers like well over a month and a half ago. But why does he still have that? Why do we have a position in government that can be so unchecked?
yeah.
Or just say I have emergency powers, and
It's so unilateral in its implementation and in its powers, like you said. It's just,
Well, we don't
it's
even know
wild.
how effective that side of it all was, because there was that stuff tracking people as far as how, isolated people were being. I don't know how they were tracking people, if it was traffic data or if they're really monitoring people's cell phone locations to see how much they were traveling. But we got like an A rating at one point, but then after a few weeks went by, we got like a D. People were out and about doing their own shit. So even though like we had all these measures in place, people were doing shit, and the cases are what they are today.
for sure. For sure, man. All right, I gotta go check on my stepdad, see how he's doing. So,
All right, man.
all right, take it easy, boys.
It's good
Peace
seeing you.
out.
Later, homie.
See ya.
yeah, it just it drives me nuts. Like the the massive overreach in Minnesota, and like the only person saying anything is Gazelka, but like he's not perfect by any means.
Right. And I first heard about that guy, I think, when you shared something. I have no idea who this person is.
I followed him for a while because he's always interesting on Twitter, but
Yeah.
like he kind of is over like the Brainerd area,
Okay.
so that's his district, and he's a minority leader or something like that. I don't know. But then I just learned about like, that gun stuff that Mitch was talking about today. I had no clue about that.
The ammo?
No, that he like the gun laws Gazelka was trying to pass or something like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't even read
Yeah.
into that. What's he trying to pass?
I don't know exactly, but
I'll have to read it.
anytime a Republican is doing that, to meet in the middle to the left is too much for me.
Yeah.
So, did you read up at all about the Red Mirage?
I was going to watch a video, but then too much shit was happening, so I didn't get to watch it.
As hell.
I mean,
pretty much.
I could see how that might happen.
It's like that meme I will always share, the emergency Democratic votes. Like,
Yeah.
And there's no way it's not rigged if that happens. Like,
Yeah, just show how flawed it
Bloomberg
is.
posted it. Like, that's pretty much them admitting that we're gonna. I see it almost like, look, no matter what, we're winning. Like, this is what's gonna happen. Don't be surprised when it does.
Yeah, we're just going to pump the numbers up, because from what I've been seeing on it, like states that do mail-in voting like that, they've had issues with it.
Oh, look at Iowa when they tried to switch up the caucuses, like to a digital thing. They couldn't fucking figure it out.
Yeah, they couldn't do that.
No,
We couldn't. It was different states like Michigan, a couple other ones that they still don't even have it figured out. So how are we going to have all of these new states come in and just implement it? Also, in the middle of a pandemic, as everything's shut down, we're going to have mail-in voting just go off flawlessly. There aren't going to be any errors. Like, how the hell?
Biden wins.
No, that's what they'll like.
Voter registration numbers are the only way to make this work, and even that's not foolproof because who's going to check every single number? Like, how many stories have you heard of like dead people receiving mail-in ballots, stopping their liberal granddaughter from checking Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and sending it in?
Yeah, there's something where like some family's cat that had been dead got a ballot or something. There's some story like that out there. So it's just.
Do you know who Buck Sexton is? Have you seen him on Twitter?
I wanted to look into it when you mentioned it, but I'm not familiar.
He's former NYPD, former CIA.
Okay.
He's very Republican, and like when you watch the show, like keep that in mind because there's a lot of stuff that's like, okay, like that's totally pandering to your base, which is whatever. It's a podcast, so that's what you do. That's how you get the numbers that make you succeed. And he had Trump Jr. Don Trump Jr. on there today, and that's the first time I actually heard him speak like at a length about something. I was pretty impressed, to be honest. But he was saying today on his show, I think it was from yesterday, but I was listening to it today, and it was about Nancy Pelosi's hair. It was the main topic, which I'm not going to. It's not worth my time. But there's this guy in like New Jersey that kind of wrote it anonymously, saying how they throw elections. Like he's a professional in throwing elections with mail-in ballots, and
really,
the smaller the election, the easier it is. And most times the ballots aren't watermarked or anything, and you can just take it to a copier and blah, blah, blah. It's the envelopes that make the difference. And those are the ones you can't, in print or, make duplicates of. So what they would do is they would go to people's houses and offer the service to put their ballots in the mail for them. And the people would say, yeah, sure. Thank you. Like, and they'd go and they'd steam the envelopes and get the glue to go up. And they would replace the ballot with the fake one and then seal it again and then mail it. And like, you have to go to a bunch of different mailboxes because you're stupid if you put 900 ballots in one mailbox. Like,
Right.
this is like going through like in length about like these people who do this professionally to throw elections. And he's like, there's not an election in New Jersey that we didn't have a hand in.
Holy shit.
So,
So yeah, just think if you're paying money to people to do something, you have enough funding, you can get some shit done. Like,
yeah.
I could see how they could go around collecting all that, going through the whole process, even though it's lengthy and you don't want to get caught. Shit, dude. I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
But like you said, the bigger the election, the harder it is. So maybe it won't be as easy with the presidential. I don't know. You have to hope.
There's a lot of money. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of big donors.
yeah.
I was wondering today when I was working in my yard, did anything ever happen with the Wayfair thing? Did anyone ever look into that, or did it just kind of die?
I don't know. I've actually been thinking I want to go see because they said that they were gonna tell those people that they needed to have better descriptions for their cabinets. So I've been waiting for their cabinets to just pop up, and I'm kind of thinking if the cabinets never pop up again, then maybe that was something. Because that's where my mind goes with it. Because if they were claiming it was legit, I'm like, okay, you guys put that out there. These are real cabinets. They just don't have accurate pictures and descriptions to fit why it's worth that much. So we're going to update why it's worth that much. And then I don't know if there's been an update.
One of the things I heard, and I can't remember in detail enough to explain it, but that made some sense is money embezzling.
Yeah.
And like that makes, to me, I don't know if it's just me hoping there's some good in the world and that actually was not happening. That makes me believe that more than child trafficking, but like that part of the world is so like dark web, like it's so there underneath our very noses, and we don't even notice child trafficking.
I mean, it happens on mass scale when you can bust one ring and you end up arresting almost 400 people or whatever it is. Like, that's a crazy number of people to be just involved. That's not the numbers of people that they've trafficked or been involved with. That's just...
No, that's not all of them either.
Yeah, that's just one little ring in the grand scheme of this multi-billion-dollar black market. And driver shared, just one more point, driver shared some guy that is like, that's his thing, is tracking traffickers, busting shit up like this. And he said that's actually exactly how they would do it, using Wayfair or some sort of system like that to traffic people just right under your nose. So
that's so sad.
It can be happening. Apparently it happens here in Duluth. It happens on the ships that come in and out. I don't even know how.
Really?
Yeah, apparently Duluth has a big trafficking problem.
In Bemidji, I know it was big because of the reservations. But...
Yeah, and we have reservations around here too.
So our great national media, who's totally unbiased and impartial, hasn't spoken about, but what happened in Georgia where they found 39 kids or something like that? Do you know anything about that?
I saw headlines, but yeah, I don't know the details of that one.
I never looked into it as much as I should have, and it's probably pretty easily, but I was kind of going to want to talk about it on here, see if you guys knew anything. And like, it sounds big, and of course it's not touched at all because Orange Man bad.
Oh,
but
yeah, I will pull this up. Let's see. Georgia kids car. What do we got? Child safety laws.
Of course, you can't find it right away.
No. It's going over safety laws. Fucking A. News. So I gotta look up.
I just searched 39 children in Georgia, maybe. Probably like page number 12 of CNN, you know. After you get to the mostly peaceful riots.
Oh, here we go. Daily Mail.
Super reliable.
Yeah, right. Let's see if I can pull this up here. What the fuck? Oh, shit's being glitchy. Come on. Oh, did it freeze? The recording may have froze.
Oh, I can still see and hear you.
Yeah, Discord's working, but I have a program that's
Oh,
recording everything, and I'm trying to get it to pop up the fucking shit.
aren't you supposed to be the producer, the tech guy of this?
I know my computer
Yeah,
is.
pay for better internet, Ryan.
Yeah, if that was all it was, I need to upgrade the whole computer system itself here.
Do you have CenturyLink?
Charter.
Okay.
So
We have CenturyLink, and there's this giant national-wide outage the other morning. I was like, oh, no internet.
damn, dude, that would suck.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, 2-week operation not forgotten across the state and arrest 9 people on charges.
That didn't work.
They face charges including sex trafficking, parental kidnapping, custodial interference, and registered sex offender violence.
Like, why isn't that front page news?
Yeah, I don't
It
even
does
know.
not move the needle. It doesn't move. It's not Trump's fault in any way.
Yeah, they can't blame. Well, and it puts law enforcement in a good light, in a sense that they actually did something decent. And
Big
now
time.
all they ever cover is how awful police officers are. So
Which there's another shooting today, and they released the body cam footage right away of like these cops are being chased down by a guy with a gun. Like,
yep.
they showed the video before of him and his buddy in the car with the guns, stuff like that. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the fact that Minneapolis had to release a video of a person killing themselves to the public to stop these riots is where the world is.
Yeah.
Like,
It says a lot, and it doesn't say a very good message right there. I don't like what I see with that.
Man, it was fucking.
We're so reactive to things we don't even know about. It's insane.
These riots were different than the George Floyd ones too. Like, with George Floyd, it was a bunch of large groups of people kind of moving to one spot. Where this one is like a bunch of little groups, everyone like going and looting and smashing shit. Like, I watched it looked like a 14-year-old teen on a bike with a crowbar breaking into the parking lot attendant booth across the street from the hotel. Like,
see, and that
what?
to me sounds like people have been following an example at that point, because they're not as organized as those other ones were.
No. And like, what is breaking into like Nordstrom's rack or a parking? How is that justice?
Yeah, it's
For something that didn't even happen, but how is that justice?
It's not at all. I mean, people are delusional at this point with all this shit. They think they're reaching some sort of goal, but they're not at all. They're far off.
Oh, it's the only way we're heard.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
whole fucking shit.
Like, they broke into the Saloon, which is a gay bar, like the gay bar in downtown Minneapolis, and like terrorized the people. Had to hide it. Like, the patrons and the staff had to lock themselves in the office and hide. Like, sorry, but I don't mean to generalize, but most LGBTQ elemental P people are not Trump supporters. They're generally people who support the BLM movement. So you going and terrorizing these people, how does that help your cause?
I don't think it does. I think
it handed Trump Minnesota.
I have a feeling that we're going to see that as well. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to be very, very shocked if Biden actually gets it. And if he does get it, it's going to be like what we're talking about. It's going to be fraudulent.
Yeah, the Red Mirage.
Yeah, and then that makes us sound like we're just being like the 2016 Hillary side of it. You know, he threw the election, electoral college is bullshit, blah, 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 blah. She had more votes, but
the argument there was that it's Russian collusion. And the
True.
argument was that Russia impacted votes by going onto social media and sharing information that wasn't true. which
is all
that's a
they're
hell of a
doing
lot
now.
more of a, which first off, they didn't. It's not like they rigged an election and changed ballots. It's not like Russia had control of the voting machines and could change numbers. They influenced an election, if it's even true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were trying to through Facebook, through ads and
But
memes
influencing
and
an
shit like
election-
that.
Yeah, influencing and trying to persuade people to vote a certain way, and actually faking numbers, which the left's really good at. If we've seen them with COVID,
Oh yeah.
like, is 100% different fraud.
Yep.
Because if you influence someone and they don't do it, then you failed. And if you do, like, that's 100% different than changing the actual numbers themselves.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So,
Oh yeah, I could see that. It is just funny being on this side where 2016 you're not pro Trump in any way really, and then here we are 2020 and you're like, yeah, I'm probably gonna vote for him. At this point in time, if the vote was tomorrow, that's where my vote would be going.
I'm full of MAGA, man. Like, I'm full of Trump 2020. There's not much you could do at this point.
Yeah.
That would way be any different. But like even in 2018, if I would have said, Ryan, in 2020, you're gonna hands down vote for Donald Trump and be called a statist, like you thought I was drunk.
I wouldn't be able to see it. Yeah, I think it's some sort of joke for sure. But now, like, and all I did with that guy was just ask questions because he's saying like, "Oh, Trump's an authoritarian." I'm like, how exactly is he authoritarian? Like, I was like,
Yeah,
are you referring to
what way?
Portland? Is it because of what happened in Portland? And he's like, I didn't even mention Portland. I'm like, yeah, I know you didn't, but I'm trying to see why do you say he's authoritarian? And he's just like, oh, Biden's bad, Trump's catastrophic. They're all catastrophic, and it's just like, it's just because of the whole libertarians not liking government and just saying all government's bad. And maybe that's true. I don't think that this administration has been so terrible. Like, I've had more money now because of it.
Yeah.
Simply because of getting rid of the whole Obamacare shit. That made me legit mad every time I'm doing my taxes and I have money taken out simply because I don't have insurance.
And it wasn't a whole lot. Like, what is it, $600? But that's
It's like $1,000.
yeah.
Just because it increased year after year and just got to be worse. So it's forcing you into this insurance system is what it was designed to do, as far as
And
I could see.
Like, I was on a contract for 2 months or 60 days in 2018. 2017, I don't know, something like that. I was on a contract, so I was not eligible for health insurance, and I turned 26 that year. So my health insurance ended, and my work's health insurance only covers you after so many days, blah blah blah. But like, so forces outside of my control, outside of picking different jobs, I couldn't have health insurance for, I think it ended up being 4 of the 12 months, and you were given 3 out of the 12 months max. So I was like 1 month over and I had to pay in the individual mandate, and I was pissed.
Yeah, that's some bullshit, dude. And it's such a dumb fucking thing, honestly. Like, I have to pay this money and I get nothing, absolutely nothing out of it, other than help other people go to the doctor for whatever dumb fucking reason they might be going in there.
You're forcing me to buy something. How is that not unconstitutional?
Yeah. Oh, it's a tax. Or no, it's not a tax.
No.
But it is a tax because it's all involved in taxes. Yeah, it is a fine. Absolutely.
Like, it's ridiculous.
It is. It's the biggest load of shit.
And that ruined the insurance companies.
Yeah, they're fucked. Absolutely fucked.
You'll never see a mom and pop insurance company ever again.
No.
So, all right.
Yeah.
I gotta get going though. I have to go to bed. I have a whole day worth of yard work to do tomorrow. So,
hell yeah, man.
Glad I could jump in the last little bit. Good chatting with you. And
yeah, I just hope it's saved.
Yeah. Well,